Hey, it's Mike with Drumline. I only interview drummers from Las Vegas so far. The first one was Dan Schinder. And the reason I bring that up is because Peter Dallas did a great interview with Dan Schinder, and we're not going to cover the exact same ground today. But we're going to have a little show and tell action and go to some of your live stage experiences. So this is Peter Dallas. Hello, Peter.
Hi, how you doing, man? Good to see you, Mike.
Anyway, I moved to Vegas. I got a studio here, and Peter Dallas comes in and rehearses, and I'm like, I know who Peter Dallas is. He's got quite an interesting career out here in Vegas and other places. He's been around the world.
Yeah, a little bit.
You started on the other side of the world. So the most important question we're going to ask you today, Peter, is what percent Greek are you, Peter?
Well, I'm 100%. But who knows, though? Because way back when, 2,000 years ago, Greece has been conquered so many times by the Turks and Middle East and the Italians. But I'm 100% Greek, mom and dad.
Oh, wow.
I was born in Athens and then raised in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah, born on an Air Force base in Athens.
So this is a Greek fest today.
Yeah, the Greek fest.
'Cause I'm half. So anyway, Peter plays in Vegas a lot.
Yeah.
You played with Lee Rocker. You want to talk about some of that?
Yeah, back in
I haven't heard about that yet.
Yeah, around 97, 98, somewhere in there. I toured with Lee Rocker, and it was fun. It was great. And
was that a three-piece?
Yeah, it was a three-piece. Okay. It was guitar, bass, and drums.
What you would expect.
And we were kicking ass. It was great. And it was blues-based, and we did a few Stray Cats tunes, but we did his solo stuff that was off of Big Blue. He had a band called Big Blue, and they did a couple of records. So yeah, I had the privilege of touring with him a bit, and then from there I went out to Austin, Texas, and I worked with a guy named Mason Ruffner, who had a solid gold hit in probably 1990. It was called Gypsy Blood, and so I did 5 tours with Mason, and he was kind of on the way down. The tours began with a bus and doing some pretty good stuff, and then it kind of got less and less as the years went by, because when the hit has happened for a few years and no more hits come, then things change. But it was a privilege. He now lives in Europe. Mason actually had he had been a blues guitar player in New Orleans on Bourbon Street. And on Bourbon Street, Jimmy Page, when he had the firm, he came down on an off night when they weren't playing the arena and saw Mason and loved his playing. So he he ended up becoming good friends with Mason. And so Mason was then, maybe 6 months later, the firm was playing, and Mason was going to go and see him. And Mason had a friend of his, a platonic girlfriend of his, a girl that he was good friends with, this blonde lady, that really loved Jimmy Page. So Mason went with her and got her on the guest list and took her. And backstage introduced her to Jimmy, and she became Jimmy's wife for quite some time.
Really? That's
so it's a wild story. And then Mason, the way he got that solid gold hit was he was on his record label that was the same label that Jimmy was on. And Jimmy got him on a few dates opening for the firm. So they were playing the Forum, and the label execs go, "Who's this opening act?" And they go, "Well, that's Mason Ruffner. He's on your label, sir." And the very next day, Mason's publicity budget hit the moon. It just went up like 100%. And then Mason got a hit on a solid gold hit with Gypsy Blood, and that gave him a career. So anyway, Mason is really a cool guy. So I did some touring with him back then after Lee Rocker, and it was great.
And you had Stonebreed played in 2020, your original band?
Yeah.
So talk about that. I saw a picture on your phone of the Yost Theater, which has the Bonzo Bash, and I've been there. It's a really cool place.
Oh, yeah.
You played there, and talk about that.
Well, the Yost was my second gig with Stonebreed. I have been doing cover music and tribute music for years, and I've been in Vegas for 15 years now. And I haven't done original stuff, with the exception of some recording sessions, in a long time. Probably, I don't know, 18 years or something. I hadn't done anything original. So I was thinking about it, and sometimes the universe, you think about things and it brings it to you. And so Carlos, the leader of Stonebreed, gave me a call, and I guess he heard about me, and he gave me a call, and I had known about Stonebreed. I'd heard about them for years, and he gave me a call and said, hey, would you be interested in possibly playing with this band? And I said, great. So he sent me some songs, and went down and auditioned about 5 or 6 tunes, played them, and he said, okay, we got some gigs, you want to do them? I said, great. So the first gig we did was at Palladino's over in Reseda, and that was really fun, with Pretty Boy Floyd. Cool band. And then the second gig we did was a few weeks later at the Yost Theater, and that was really fun. We were opening for LA Guns, and I was surprised because Scotty Coogan, who I know from Las Vegas, he had played with Ace Frehley for years, and he had stopped playing with Ace Frehley maybe a couple of months before, and then he went to LA Guns, and the new LA Guns lineup is really great. It's Tracy Guns, the original singer, some really great guys, you know, on guitar and bass. They're all real rock stars, and you know, they play great. So I was stoked. So there I saw Scotty, and I didn't know Scotty had that gig. So we chatted a little bit, and it was Scotty's first gig, and he was kind of nervous, you know, everybody is a little bit, you know. And so I go, man, you're gonna nail it. You're just gonna kill it. And he goes, okay, man. And we talked before. So it was really funny because we opened for him, and so the crew came out with my drums, and we were setting them up because there were 2 bands before them. There was a band before us, and then LA Guns. And so they came out with my drums. So I'm sitting there with the double bass drum set, and people are bringing them out, and I'm kind of making sure everything's cool. And then right next to me, I see this leg, you know, looking down at the double pedals, and I go, and I look up, and Scotty, and there was no curtain between us and the audience, so the audience could see us setting up. And so I look up, and Scotty's standing there, and all the crowd is packed, and they're watching all this because, you know, they're curious about everything. And I go, hey, Scott. And he goes, hello, Peter. And he goes, have a great show, Peter. And we shook hands, and I go, thank you, Scott. And he goes, you're very welcome. I'll be watching. And I go, cool. And then he walked away. It was really funny. It was just funny because it was so formal. You know, he was so formal about it. So, but then we did that, and then did the, you know, opening. So you kind of set up, and then you just kind of, you know, walk off and then walk back on and start your set. And then they played, and they were phenomenal. And Scotty was just amazing as always. So.